Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from the picket line, back to the silver screen, and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me, as always, Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Well, Mike, I finally was able to see a movie that people were able to promote.
Yeah, at the very last minute.
Literally the last day before it dropped.
Yeah. The strike ended, and next day, Brie Larson and I think Tom Hiddleston were on the Tonight Show or talk shows promoting these Marvel things. It's clearly Disney had first dibs on who gets to get on the Tonight Show once the strike is over. I wonder if that was like part of the negotiations at all, like between the studios. Like when this is over, who gets to send their people out? Disney clearly won that coin toss.
100%. Go figure.
So
I never would have expected that.
Never, not in a million years. But yes, clearly we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're talking about the strikes. We're talking about Marvel switching up some release dates and some other tangential Marvel stuff. Speaking of Marvels, Steve saw the Marvels. We'll get a couple of thoughts from him on that movie. I have not, so these thoughts will be spoiler free, so no worries.
And similarly, Mike has seen the finale of Loki. I've seen 25 minutes of the finale of Loki, so I don't know if he wants to drop something on that, but I'll step out if that's the case.
Sure.
Because that one seems to be, it's going to need to be spoiler heavy.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know. I mean, I can talk about it. I don't have to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil anything if people haven't seen it. What else? We're talking about Warner Brothers being a boneheaded studio still. We're talking about a couple trailers and some comics news, comics reviews, couple one-shots for you tonight. Kicking things off, as always, this podcast is sponsored by Funky Town Comics and Vinyl in Camillus, New York. Check them out for all your comics and vinyl and toy needs. Yeah, nothing else to say about them other than they are excellent and continue to be excellent. Last reminder before this event happens, Steve and I will be at Saratoga Comic-Con this coming Saturday and Sunday. We'll also be in the area Friday evening. But yeah, if you're in the Saratoga area and you want to look at some nerd stuff, there's a whole con going on.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look up Saratoga Comic-Con. We're at booth 92.
I think so.
I think it's 92. So check your maps, folks. We'll be at booth 92. I'll be slinging and signing comics that I have written. And if you want to just talk to Steve and I about nerdy stuff, we can do that too.
We'll probably. I don't know if you've noticed. If you're listening to this, we can talk about nerdy things.
That's what we do. We were together earlier in the day, and we talked about nerdy things.
Right.
It's just what happens. So that's happening.
Confirmed it is 92 for the record.
Yes, that's what I thought. And make sure you're following us on socials, because we'll probably be posting pictures from the con and maybe some content updates and things like that. Real quick, before we dive into the news proper, I just want to follow up real quick because we got some good engagement on a post I put on social media this week based on a conversation we had on last week's episode. That was a question posed to us by somebody in the chat. I believe his name was Travis, and he said we were talking about the article that mentioned that Marvel is considering bringing back the original Avengers, including Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson's Iron Man and Black Widow, bringing them back from the dead to help combat declining interest in the MCU. By the way, this week, Kevin Feige denied that they've ever talked about that. He said that in an interview this week, so who knows?
Of course he's going to, though.
Yeah. So we were talking about, the question was, can you name a time when characters have been brought back from the dead and it actually worked? Now, in the clip that I posted online, the context wasn't really there because, Steve, you and I were talking about like a TV show or a movie that decided that for dramatic effect or for like narrative sense, this character has to die, and then panicked a while later or whatever.
This didn't work. What do we do?
Yeah. And said, oh, wait, no, this character has to come back. We have to bring this character back. And not even really that, but like in a way where you weren't 100% sure that they were going to come back when they died. Like one of the things I talked about last week was Superman in Batman versus Superman Justice League. Like, yeah, sure, it works when he comes back to life, but we also knew he wasn't going to stay dead. Like that wasn't a thing. So some of the ones we got were of that ilk. Yeah. A couple people said Gandalf, which is a great point. However, that's like written into the story. That's based. They're adapting an existing thing. It wasn't like they killed Gandalf off for ratings and then brought him back in season 12 or something.
Also, if you go into the Legendarium, it's like it's the same Maiar, but it's a different persona, and there's a whole weird shit.
There's a whole thing.
But if you're just watching the movies, 100%.
Yeah. Someone mentioned a character from the TV show Lost that I won't spoil, but that doesn't really count because if you know that show, the character that dies comes back. It was revealed later to not really be him, so I don't think that really counts. Someone also said Endgame, which I guess is good, but again, that's a thing to me where it was just like, I know all these characters are coming back. Like I was not thought for 1 second that we weren't going to get, Sebastian Stan back as Winter Soldier or whatever. Like I knew that was going to happen. So, an example I thought of, Steve, I don't know if you spent any time thinking about this, but I thought of almost immediately as we hung up of our last podcast, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Spoiler alert, she dies twice in that show. And again, it's named after her, so you could make the argument that, yeah, probably pretty sure she's going to come back. But that show is a great example of what you and I also talked about last week, where if a character dies, the only way it works, or the way it works best if you're going to bring them back, is you have to do the work to build up to that bringing them back and to like kind of show the fallout or the consequences of either their death on their friends and family, or just like on themselves. What are they like? Are they changed by the experience? Like that kind of thing. And that show handles it very well. So if anybody out there has any other examples of characters being written out of a show, being killed off in a film series or anything like that. And again, this is not comics. We understand it happens in comics all the time. Kids get kids. Well, yeah, kids, adults, characters of any kind. Killed, brought back all the time. We're talking TV and movies. If you have any other examples of that where it worked, Travis's original example was Star Trek Search for Spock. If you have any other examples, let us know. I'm just curious. I'm curious now. Write them in. Let us know.
Oh, you know what?
What?
We were talking about it earlier today. Bill Connors. Again, yes, it may be built into the movie. However,
it's kind of
it is on a technicality. It does qualify.
It works. Yeah. Okay, moving into our proper rundown. Yes, you heard it here, not first, probably, unless you just really don't follow any other news outlets.
Right. Adam, you might have heard it here first. Everybody else, you probably heard it before.
Tyler, you might have heard it here first. The SAG-AFTRA strike has ended. They announced it earlier this week. A deal has been reached between the studios and the actors, with the actors getting the things that they wanted, more or less. Again, similar to the writer's strike, this is a deal that the studios could have made on day one of the strike, and they just decided to dig in their heels and be jerks until they eventually just gave the actors what they wanted. And what do the actors get? They got general wage increases across the board, different percentages for background actors. Background actors actually got a heavier percentage of an increase than main actors. But built into the structure of this deal is 2 additional increases scheduled over the following 2 years of the contract. This is only a 3-year contract. So 3 years from now, we might be facing another strike if things don't, just continue to improve.
Right.
They also got the creation of a new fund to pay performers for future viewings of their work on streaming services. So like a fund that will help pay kind of residuals for repeated viewings of those things on streamers, which is something that was very much lacking. I got more money for the reallocation of actors who have to move to appear in a TV series. So like, I guess helping people move or find places to live or something. That's pretty cool. All productions now are
recorded. Think about where, like, if they're filming somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, even bit actors have to relocate for a decent amount of time.
Absolutely. So. Congratulations, LA-based actor. You got the lead in a TV series that shoots in Virginia. So
right.
Here we go. Pack up. This is something that's been more common on productions lately, but now it is required. Now it is required that all productions hire an intimacy coordinator for any scenes involving nudity or sex. I think that is great.
I didn't know that wasn't a thing. So,
I mean, yeah, it wasn't out of requirement. It was, like I said, it had been gaining steam and it's a smart thing all around for sure. I didn't know this was a thing. Now, dancers who are asked to sing or singers who are asked to dance will be paid separately for both of those skills. I guess prior to this agreement, if you were a dancer and you were asked to sing, you still just got paid for one role. Technically, those are two different skills, so studios aren't going to get a 2-for-1 deal anymore on that. All sets now must have proper hair and makeup artists that are appropriate for the actors that are working on that show, including actors of all different ethnicities and appearances. I think that's a very smart thing as well. And I can believe it for sure, but it's just, I can just imagine the frustrations from, a hairdresser on a set that doesn't know how to, cut a black man's hair or whatever, or style an African-American woman's hair or whatever, it just sounds just rough. So that's a good thing as well. And the big thing here, or one of the biggest things, protections against artificial intelligence. All productions now must get consent from any actor for whom a digital replica is going to be used. That includes background actors. Awesome. So this consent includes a specific as possible description of how that digital replica is going to be used. And the consent can only be given for one job at a time. Awesome. So it's like the consent is per production, not per studio. So it's not like you can just sign, like Disney can't ask you to use your consent and then use it in any Disney thing. Like if you are filming a Star Wars movie, then it can be used on that one Star Wars movie if you give your consent. And then they can't turn around and use it on the next Marvel movie that they're making or whatever, which is great. Great for the actors. And you have to give consent. When AI is being used in a production that the actor is already working on. So let's say, I don't know, like we just mentioned the Marvels, say Brie Larson gave consent for Disney to use AI to replicate her doing some crazy thing in the movie The Marvels. Great. But they still have to pay her as if she was the actor that did that thing that they did with AI instead. So unless it's, like I just said, unless it's some kind of crazy thing that only a digital replica could do, they're not really winning anything by not just asking the actors to do it themselves, because they still have to pay those actors to do it. And if AI is used to create a digital character using pieces of living actors, like they want to take, Ryan Gosling's eyes and put them on George Clooney's face or whatever and add a different hair, just like, you're designing a person or a creature, but you're using whatever inspiration from other
Frankenstein's
people.
AI monster.
Yeah. Each of those actors have to give their consent. And that's the same for deceased actors as well. Whoever owns the estate of those deceased actors also has to give consent for all this stuff. So that is great. A lot of great protections against artificial intelligence taking over the jobs of actors of all kinds. So that's great. Congratulations. This has been, until maybe 3 years from now, the final episode of Strike Watch.
Yeah. It's been a while. Strike Watch. And I'm sure we'll have maybe not Strike Watch, but Strike Aftershocks, where details come out about some things that have been happening or whatever as we move forward. But it's good to see that, the actors have gotten, most of what they were asking for, and that things are back in production. Now, there's a much longer conversation as to whether these studios have screwed the pooch too much on various other things to make any of this even matter. But that's that's a whole different ball of wax. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you got to think that a lot of these studio heads have like damaged their reputations with some of these actors with either things that have been leaked that they said during negotiations, or just the fact that they took so long. Like, these are the longest Hollywood strikes in history. Like, they took so long.
just really trying to wear down these actors. Like, you got to. I can't think that any Disney actors like, oh, I can't wait till the next time I get to talk to Bob Iger. Like,
oh yeah.
You know,
Well, even I guess that's the other weird thing is even stuff like, the movie I just watched, The Marvels.
Yeah.
Like, it's currently projected to be one of the worst Marvel openings ever.
Yeah, it is.
And
Domestically, anyway.
It's like, I'll spoiler alert. It was a fun movie, and it was a great popcorn movie.
We can just do your thoughts now. Now that you're talking about it,
might as well. Like, there's no better time than here, no better place than now.
Yeah,
strike that, reverse it. But
no, it's perfect.
But yeah, it was, I went in again, dropping expectations over the course of, I guess the last couple of years of watching Marvel things, and didn't need to. Like, it was from the jump fun. Like, you're not going in for a mind bending experience. You're not going in for, Citizen Kane here.
Yeah,
I went in looking for a fun hour and 45 tight movie, and walked out like very happy. The post-credit stinger was a non sequitur, or, well, I guess it wasn't complete non sequitur, but it ties things in, but wasn't necessary to the rest of the plot.
Right.
Weirdly helps Deadpool 3. Like, that's all.
Cool.
All I'll give you. But
all right,
actually helps that significantly.
Interesting.
But they, I mean, Teyana Paris and Iman Vellani and Brie Larson all like nail their characters quite well. Like, you feel each of them individually. Ms. Marvel, like Kamala Khan, the Khans are back. The family is back.
Yeah,
gives a perfect amount of comic relief. Kind of steals the scene every time they're around, just like they did in Ms. Marvel. I mean, overall, it hit all the points it needed to hit. There was no point where I was watching it and like, oh, this isn't like, there was no lull like I've seen in a lot of Marvel movies lately. It was just tip to tail. Things kept moving, and it was fun, and it was enjoyable, and I would 100% like recommend people to go watch it.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before I can, schedule-wise, but I think I've only really seen one negative review of it, and I'm sorry, one negative review that was in good faith. I feel like I've seen negative reviews that are just mad that women are leading a movie, just your classic nerd misogynists out there that are going to hate it no matter what. I did see one guy that, he's a big, I follow him online, and he's a big Marvel guy and comic book guy in general. And he said, it just wasn't for me. I hope the people that like it, but it didn't hit him. And, he wasn't a fan of the first one either. So, like, it's to be expected. Maybe he just doesn't like the character. I don't know that much about him, but he was polite about it. But everyone else is saying, yeah, super fun. And honestly, I think you touched on it as well. I think the biggest thing that I am reading about this movie is that Iman Vellani is incredible in it.
Oh,
everyone
absolutely.
says that she steals the show. She's knocks it out of the park. So,
other thing that was an amazing piece to the puzzle. There was no need to know, like, you didn't have to watch 23 other movies.
Really,
for this. It was very much self-contained. Anything that needed the exposition and description got it. It's I wouldn't consider it a spoiler, but like, if you hadn't seen WandaVision, Spectrum gets her powers in WandaVision.
Yeah, they kind of go over that.
Carol, her quote-unquote aunt, was nowhere near any of that. So she describes to her what happened. Like,
makes sense.
And then inherently that would describe to the audience what happened. So it works. Like, they made it all fit and not feel clunky.
Awesome, man. That's cool.
Meanwhile, it did come out that it opened to just 47 million.
Yep, domestically.
Yeah,
and 110 worldwide, I think.
Something like that. Yeah,
I saw 110 worldwide.
AP only
47
had the domestic.
Yeah, I guess like after opening night previews, the expectations were dropped to between 47 and 52, and then it just hit 47, which is the low end of expectations. 110 worldwide, but like I said, I don't know, it's not getting panned, you know. So everything that I see is good. So maybe it'll have a little bit longer legs, and an audience can grow with it or whatever. I hope so.
I mean, I guess that's the other thing, is if there isn't a crazy drop second week, then it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. Going off your movie thoughts, I'll just quickly say that I thought about Loki, no spoilers at all. I'm someone, I feel like I'm in the minority of people that didn't love season 1 of Loki. I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it, but I thought it was just fine. It was definitely kind of on the lower tier of the Marvel TV stuff for me. Season 2 I thought was excellent. I liked season 2. It made me want to go back and rewatch season 1. I probably won't, because I don't rewatch TV very often, but I liked season 2 so much that I was like, whoa, was I just out of it for season 1? Was season 1 this good also? Season 2 was really cool, shot really, really well. Just like, the TVA and everything, like it just looks cool. Like they're cool sets, there's cool rooms, there's cool hallways. It just like is a very unique look to the show. It's unlike any other Marvel thing. And the ending is so fun and fast-paced, but intense at the same time. It just felt like real, kind of like early Marvel stuff, where I was like, this is fun, but the characters are taking it seriously. And, he's got to stop a world-ending threat or whatever, like every Marvel superhero thing eventually has to do. But it's funny where it can be, and it's serious where it needs to be. And I really liked the ending of it. I won't go into spoilers, but I feel like it's a very good place for Marvel to be, for the MCU to be at the end of this show. It gives them some elbow room for things they may want to do in the future. And I really like where Loki ends up at the end of the series. So
yes.
I won't say anything else, but check it out if you haven't seen it yet. This is from someone who was a little down on the first season. Second season, definitely worth a watch. So
I was gonna say,
cool.
I'd give you lukewarm at best on season 1.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know, it's cool, man. This is a weekend that we're talking about 2 very well reviewed and received Marvel things. It kind of feels good. Like it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Oh god, it's been a while since we've done that.
Hot on 2 different things.
Yeah.
And again, Marvel's isn't blowing it up at the box office, but box office is not an indicator of quality. It's an indicator of popularity. Sometimes those things go hand in hand, sometimes they do not.
Yep.
So it's just cool. It's fun. It feels like, maybe Marvel's getting their groove back. However, if the Marvels does not pick up at the box office, that studio heads are just going to go back to, well, we can never make another one of those again, that kind of thing. So,
yeah, and that's I guess that's part of. I was actually discussing it with a couple of my other friends this morning.
How dare you talk to other people?
Well, I have to talk to other people to get ideas to talk to you about.
Okay, that's a good point.
It's all workshopping.
Yeah.
That's the writer's room. Now we're bringing it to production.
Yeah,
They haven't gone on strike yet, thankfully. So we were talking about how, Loki landing the plane and the Marvels actually being decent. The studios will likely take all of the wrong things.
Yeah.
For the right reasons, they'll take all of the wrong things away from both of these movies, or both the movie and the show.
Yep.
Like it's guaranteed. So,
yep.
I'm not holding my breath on them unscrewing whatever they've done, but we can hope.
Yeah. I hope it just doesn't change whatever they have in motion already, because I feel like that's where they really drop the balls when when any studio drops the ball. It was when they're reactionary instead of just like sticking to their guns and doing what they were going to do in the first place. Looking at you, DC. Looking at you, Star Wars. Speaking of Marvel movies, there's a few that you will see, but not for a little bit longer than you thought you were going to see them. Of course, as we all knew, we knew that once the strikes were over, we were going to see a bunch of movies get their dates pushed. Marvel's no exception. Marvel has a lot of movies in production, or did before the strikes. Clearly, not all those movies are going to be able to come out now, and they have moved them. Deadpool 3 gets the shortest bump. It's exciting. It was going to come out May 3rd, 2024. Now we only have to wait till July 26th of 2024. So just only like 3 more months. That's it. Yeah, great. Apparently they're like halfway done with that movie, so they don't have too much more to do. They think they can still hit July. Great. Awesome. Thunderbolts.
I still don't feel good about that.
I know. Part of me thinks that's going to move again.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that they're going to need to move it again. Thunderbolts
should just move off the calendar.
Yeah, I don't know. December 20th, 2024 to July 25th, 2025. That's a pretty hefty move for a film that was just about to start filming. So, I don't know. We'll see. See what happens there. Blade. Of course, Blade's going to move. Blade has been in a lot of trouble over the last couple of years. Apparently, it was going to come out on Valentine's Day, 2025. Weird date for a murderous vampire movie to come out. Now it's going to come out November 7th, 2025. So that gets bumped from early in the year to later in the year. So it's going to be, damn, that's so far away. Huh? They announced that so long ago. They announced that 3 or 4 years ago, and that's not coming out till the end of 2025. Wild. However, it also was confirmed this week that it's going to be rated R. It's going to be the second MCU R-rated movie after Deadpool 3. So that's cool that they're kind of expanding the R-rated banner a little bit to encompass a character like Blade that deserves to be rated R.
That was announced in 2019. Comic-Con 2019 during that panel.
2019.
Yep.
2019. So over 6 years later, it will finally
maybe.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Captain America, Brave New World. Captain America 4 has moved from July 26, 2024 to Blade's vacated release date of February 14th, 2025. Not the longest move out of these crop of movies. However, pretty lengthy. 6-7 months, something like that.
Yep.
Captain America 4 is said to be going under extensive reshoots. This is brought to us by Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic podcast, undergoing extensive reshoots due to negative testing scores. As reshoots are going to be scheduled between January 2024 through May 2024. That's a long time for reshoots. So extensive is clearly the correct word to be using here. Apparently 3 major sequences in the film are being cut. And maybe that's part of the reshoots to like reconfigure those. I also am thinking, Steve, I don't know if you remember they announced that a character was going to be in this movie, Captain America 4, a character named Sabra was going to be in this movie. And she's not like the most well-known character, but I'm wondering if the reshoots have anything to do with her character or what her character is doing, because her character, those of you who don't know, I don't know very much about her. What I understand, she seems to be a super soldier for the Israeli army.
Yep.
Is that more or less correct? She's a superhero that works for the Israeli government.
Yeah, she's a mutant that is a Mossad agent.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So considering everything that's happening currently, the war between the Israeli government and Hamas in Palestine, I don't know that would be a good idea to put that character in a movie, unless you're just going to kind of change it somehow. But it just seems like you're playing with fire, considering current real world events. And I don't know if that's part of the reason why the movie didn't test well, but it seems like no one said this. I just was thinking about it. So I could be wrong, but it seems like not a great idea maybe to put that character in a movie at all, especially with the current state of the Middle East, what's going on over there.
Yeah,
so,
I completely forgot that they had announced that she was going to be in the movie.
Yeah. And I remember it was like a weird announcement. Like we were like, well, okay, see what they do. That's kind of strange. But
well, and that was kind of on
yeah.
wasn't the announcement on the tails of like Moon Knight and Scarlet Scarab, and
Yeah, I think so.
it's like, all right, let's throw another female heroine out there and announce it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
Either
We'll
way,
see.
like, again, one of those where who knows why they reshot anything, but if
Yeah.
it wasn't testing well, I'm glad they're reshooting it.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
I've always said the same thing about like video games where people always used to complain, oh, they're missing the release date, and I'm like, well, if they're gonna make a shit game,
Yeah,
then why
exactly. Would you rather?
would you rather have them put it out?
Yeah,
And
would you
same
rather
thing with
play a
movies.
terrible game?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if it's gonna be bad, then or even if it's gonna be mediocre, like push it.
Yeah.
We don't need
Did
4 of
you?
these a year.
Right. Right. We clearly don't.
Yeah.
And they don't need to be making them because they're missing the ball.
Yeah.
Especially, we're hearing reports about Bob Iger being really mad that people aren't going to see Quantumania, or people complain about the effects or things like that. Like, you don't want to piss off your boss either,
Yeah.
So take the time, make it right. Real quick, Steve, did you hear about these? You mentioned bad video games. Have you read about that King Kong game that recently came out that is
No.
apparently abysmal?
Oh yeah.
You should look it up. There's like
Yeah.
like cutscenes from it that just look insane. Like so bad.
Yep.
Like you can't imagine that this is a game that was released in 2023. Like so bad. And then like people that worked on the game, I guess, came out saying like, yeah, we weren't given any time at all. We were like forced to, there was nothing we could do. The conditions were terrible. I can't remember what's Secrets of Skull Island maybe or something like that, but it's a new King Kong game that just looks really, really, really bad.
Great.
Did you find it?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. It's not a high priority. I'm just saying it's laughable. The graphics. Like PlayStation 1 or worse graphics.
First search thing that came back was this new King Kong game is one of the worst games I've ever played.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks really. I've only seen like the one cutscene, but there seemed to be like a still image as part of the cutscene. Just
oh god.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Right?
Awful King Kong, and from Kotaku, awful King Kong game was made in a year by overworked devs.
Yeah.
Was developed according to one developer, the game was developed by no more than 20 people. And it looks like it.
Yeah, it does look like it.
Like, no offense to the 20 people that worked on this, but
oh, I don't think they take offense. I think they know it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, got to cash a paycheck somewhere.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Anyway, back to Marvel. This is kind of a holdover from last week, because I remember I read it before last week's show, and then I forgot to put it in the rundown. But anyway, Marvel has created a new Spotlight banner for some projects within their MCU. The Spotlight banner is kind of like a way to say, this is a thing that doesn't necessarily connect to the greater MCU continuity. You can watch this without really knowing anything. That's kind of what they're saying it is. We'll see how long that lasts. The first project to be under this banner will be Echo, which is weird because Echo is a spinoff of like 2 other shows. So it's kind of strange to think that you don't need to have seen those other shows at all to get this, but I guess we haven't seen Echo, so we'll see. The name Spotlight comes from an anthology comic series that Marvel was putting out in the early 70s. Again, a way to like, this is just a singular story. Don't have to worry about anything else. The announcement or the quote from Marvel says, Marvel Spotlight gives us a platform to bring more grounded, character-driven stories to the screen, and in the case of Echo, focusing on street-level stakes over larger MCU continuity. Just like comics fans didn't need to read Avengers or Fantastic Four to enjoy a Ghost Rider Spotlight comic, our audience doesn't need to have seen other Marvel series to understand what's happening in Maya's story. So, Steve, Marvel Spotlight banner. Apparently, this is going to be like, there's going to be a different logo intro, and different gore from Michael Giacchino, like over the logo, like to really separate it here. Do you think this is going to be beneficial or more confusing for people that are jumping into Marvel?
¿Por qué no los dos? Like, why not both? probably going to be, it probably is the right move, but it's also probably going to be more confusing.
That's exactly how I feel too. I think it's a good move for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a one more thing you have to explain to people who are interested. And like, I want to check out these Marvel movies. Okay, well, you got to start here, and then you can watch in this order, or you can watch in the timeline order. But this over here is a spotlight thing, so this you can watch anytime. This doesn't have the time. It's just like one more thing for people to remember. So I guess we'll see how it does, how long it lasts before they forget the original purpose of it and they release Echo Season 2 and it's a super tie-in with Captain Marvel or whatever, well, before they can't help themselves anymore, So we shall see. Did I say anything earlier about studio heads being horrible?
I mean,
when we were
we
talking about
did.
the strike. I might have said that, right?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. I'm going to bring up a specific studio head being horrible.
The one we already know is horrible?
Yeah. David Zaslav from Warner Brothers Discovery. I was thinking the other day when I read this story, I was thinking about how I was, when he first came on and gave his first interview or first statements about what he wanted to do, he was so pro DC and how he wanted to get a Superman movie going and had all these plans for DC and blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, okay. I don't hate this guy. We'll see. And then almost immediately after, he just started doing the most clown-headed things.
Oh, no, I do hate this guy. Okay, cool.
He's a piece of shit. I understand. He's a greedy asshole, just like every other billionaire. Warner Brothers Discovery has decided to shelve another film similar to Batgirl or Scoob Holiday Haunt. Actually, more similar to... What's that?
Got to get those write-offs, man.
Yeah. This one's actually more similar to Scoob Holiday Haunt because I believe both of these movies were 100% complete and done. A new hybrid live-action and animated film that was going to be called Coyote vs. Acme. I remember when this movie was announced. It's, how
I don't.
The Coyote, when he's trying to get the Roadrunner, he buys all this stuff from Acme and it always explodes or injures him or whatever. He decides to sue the Acme Corporation and hires Will Forte as his lawyer to sue the Acme Corporation. But then John Cena, the other star of the film, is the CEO of Acme. And so there's they kind of start going after each other, I guess. Also starred Lana Condor and Eric Bauza as all the Looney Tunes characters. I guess he's the guy that does the voice now. This was supposed to be released this past July, but was removed from the schedule, and Barbie took its place.
That worked out in hindsight.
Yeah, I guess that did work out for them in hindsight. You got to say that. But now, they have decided to shelve the movie in favor of taking a $30 million tax write-off. And sure, Warner Brothers is a company that's saddled with a lot of debt, and part of Zaslav's job is to eliminate that debt. But I think doing it at the expense of the people that you employ is just a terrible way to do it, and expense of the art. He is almost single-handedly dismantling the legacy of Warner Brothers Pictures, one of the most heralded film studios in the history of Hollywood. And they're just becoming a joke because he figured out a way to use government tax laws to, line his own wallet. Insane. I've read that this movie was testing incredibly high for test audiences. Apparently it scored in the 90s, which I don't know anything about test scores, film test scores, but I read several people saying, if this is true, then this movie tested higher than probably any of your favorite movies. It is incredibly rare to score that high in test screenings.
Yeah.
So there's that. And there's also, this is how we know that we're doomed. That we're doomed as long as Zaslav is in charge. This movie, the story for this movie was written by someone that was also producing this movie. A guy by the name of James Gunn. So the head of DC Films has a personal investment and stake in this movie, and that's not enough for them to not put it on a shelf in favor of a tax write-off. Yikes.
Insanity. Absolute insanity.
DC fans, I'm with you in solidarity. I am one of you. And we just all need to just white knuckle it and grit our teeth, and hopefully hands off James Gunn. Hopefully is the last James Gunn thing that will get shelved indefinitely for a tax write-off.
Yeah. To see
sick of it, Steve. I'm sick of my favorite characters being just manhandled by idiot suits who don't know what to do. You know? And I know this is not a DC story. It's a Warner Brothers story, but Warner Brothers owns DC. So, like, and the fact that this was a James Gunn affiliated film just makes me want to tear my hair out. Like, it makes me want to say, like, why should I get excited for anything if at a second's notice he could change his mind and put it on a shelf and take a tax write-off? Like, I don't think he will do this with Superman Legacy, but what if he does? What if he does? Yeah. There's no guarantees now. There's no guarantees, Steve.
I mean, at least that's a tentpole. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, if any of the weird, like, even if Creature Commandos. But what if he's just like, oh,
Batgirl had Batman in it. That was a movie that had Batman in it.
Fair.
And he shelved it.
Yeah, I got
Batman.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
So has everyone in the entire world. And he decided to not release a movie.
Like there's literally
that
like
everyone in the entire world loves.
Right. There's literally 3 characters that everybody in the world knows, and that's Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And you somehow decided to take one of those and take a movie that featured him and not release it?
So that's what I'm saying. And again, that one wasn't done. This movie was 100% done. It was being tested, and it had people like that, like Netflix and stuff wanted to like bid on it.
Yeah.
Like, it was done. It was done. They could have gotten money for it from another streamer. Oh my God. What an asshole.
Unreal.
There's nothing else to say. I'm just like, anytime I read this now, I'm just scared. I'm scared for the future of DC, and I don't know. It's weird to be in like the most with James Gunn and Peter Safran. I feel like DC fans, it's the most steady of a slate and a future that we've had for like films and shows of DC. But then you get something like this that makes me think like, well, nothing is steady at all. Like,
right.
We think it's steady on ahead, but then David Zaslav drops an iceberg right in front of us, and there's nothing we can do about it. That could happen at any second.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And as much as I don't, like, there was some article we talked about a month ago or whatever where they said it was possible that Warner Bros. Was just going to get sold again or something like that. And as much as I don't want that to happen, I would just, like, I don't want, like, just another corporation to own DC, but, like, if that corporation is going to, like, handle it better, then maybe I do want that. I don't know. Like, maybe sell it, but part of the deal is that you get James Gunn and Peter Safran also, like, you get DC Films goes with you, and that's what you're going to get. I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of, as weird as it sounds, it's kind of what happened with Marvel. The rights were everywhere. Yeah. Everything was all over the place. And then Disney, after they bought the Marvel properties, was like, nah, screw this. We're going to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So if they had a willing investor, why not?
I think you and I could pool the money together.
I don't think so.
Make an offer. Damn it.
Depends on how Saratoga goes for you.
I was just about to say that same thing. I was about to make that same joke. Depends on how well we do at Saratoga Comic-Con this weekend. We'll see. Maybe we'll come back with some big news for you people. Stay tuned. Another less depressing DC piece of news. We got a new trailer for the Dead Boy Detective series. It's going to happen on Netflix. No release date yet. This is a series that has been confirmed to take place in the same universe as the Netflix Sandman series, which makes sense because the Dead Boy Detectives characters spun out of a story in Neil Gaiman's original Sandman run. And this looked pretty good. Like I can't really tell. It was a cool trailer. It's like poppy and bright and fast paced. I can't really tell if the show's going to be good. It was a good trailer. It definitely looked different than we saw versions of the Dead Boy Detectives in a couple episodes of Doom Patrol, which were good. And these definitely sets it apart. It doesn't look like the same two actors, or sorry, the same three main actors. It doesn't look like the same. It just it doesn't look like the same show, which is good. It shouldn't look like Doom Patrol, but
I'm going to say something weird, and I don't know how it should be taken.
Okay.
But the trailer felt like a good version of a CW show.
Yeah, I felt that too. I got CW vibes.
It was like a Supernatural or something along those lines. And I know there's plenty of people that love Supernatural. I've never seen more than like a handful of episodes, I think.
Yeah.
But like it had that kind of everything I've seen from that show, very, very dark and broody with a light overtone.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can see that.
I'll give it a shot. Why the hell not?
Plenty of those CW shows found a lot of success, like DC stuff, Arrow, Flash, like that whole like Arrowverse thing. That was like really popular with fans. So maybe this strikes the same chord.
Especially now that they're not producing those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they just announced that season 4 of Superman and Lois is going to be the last season of Superman and Lois. So that'll be officially death of the CW Arrowverse shows.
Did we talk about last week the official death of the Doom Patrol?
No, but yeah, the series we haven't because
series is complete.
Yep, they have released I haven't seen the most recent drop of episodes because they started in October and I was busy as hell that whole month. But I'm very looking forward to sitting down and finishing the show. One of my favorite comic book adaptations of all time. So good, so good. Can't wait. And yes, it is finally finished. And right there, in case James Gunn wants to announce a Doom Patrol movie. Just saying, James. It's right there. I'll be there. I'll go.
As long as Brendan Fraser comes back, then
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Neil Gaiman also casually hinted, without any specifics or spoilers, that there may be characters from the Sandman show popping up in Dead Boy Detectives episodes. Maybe during the origin or whatever, because I believe Morpheus is involved in that story at some point, although tangentially. So we shall see. We shall see. And it made me excited for more seasons, another season of The Sandman, which they're still working on too. So great. Another trailer that we got this week, kind of a big trailer for what we now know is called Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This is the sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, also a legacy sequel to the original 2 Ghostbusters films. No release date yet for this film. It was supposed to come out, I think, the end of this year, but got pushed when the strikes happened or something. I don't remember what got pushed, but Ghostbusters Frozen Empire trailer shows something going wrong, and then
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood, yeah, something strange in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
and then someone's got to call Ghostbusters. Just like a big ice wintry storm, freezing. The whole city of New York is frozen solid because of some reason. And
then you find out it's July.
Yeah. And we get shots of the 3 surviving original Ghostbusters: Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, and Bill Murray. And we get Paul Rudd, and we get all the other kids, and Finn Wolfhard, and all that stuff. The other actors whose names I can't remember. Steve, what did you think of this trailer?
Exactly the same. It's like, remember Finn Wolfhard? I don't remember the rest of them. Damn it. Seemed fine. I still haven't seen Afterlife.
Yeah.
I just borrowed the Blu-ray of it for
cool.
From my son's friend is obsessed with Ghostbusters, which is weird. All of like he has one friend that's obsessed with Ghostbusters, one obsessed with Transformers, he's obsessed with the Turtles. And I'm just sitting here thinking my entire childhood is coming back. So I know we've touched on it before, but it's like, all right, it's the 80s again.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, I liked Afterlife enough, I guess. Like, I liked all the new stuff that they were doing at Afterlife. A lot of Afterlife I felt like was a not very well put together clone of the original Ghostbusters, like literally the exact same things. You know how people say like Force Awakens is just a rehash of New Hope.
Yep.
That's how I felt about Ghostbusters Afterlife, but like times 10.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I had to think about it after I saw this trailer because I've loved the Ghostbusters my whole life. I grew up with them. Although I rewatched the original maybe 2 years ago, and I was like, I don't know if this is as funny as I remember it being. Like Bill Murray, just kind of a real asshole. He's kind of like harassing Sigourney Weaver. Like, I kind of just think he's a jerk and not a funny jerk anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'm just growing out of it.
Murray.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's kind of changing my whole view on Bill Murray, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm going through a whole thing right now, but kicked off by watching Ghostbusters 2 years ago and being like, I don't know if I like this. And like, Rick Moranis shows up, hilarious, great, love it. Stealing every scene, amazing. But then I'm just like, this guy is just a creep. I don't know if he's funny. So I should revisit it. But the other thing that I'm thinking with Afterlife and also with this, it's like they're trying to turn Ghostbusters into just this like a fandom with this like deep lore and like gravitas, and like this weight to this franchise of this, like, I don't know, like it's just a comedy. It's just a comedy in the 80s, and like this trailer doesn't seem like a comedy to me. It seems like a Marvel movie. It seems like they're trying to change Ghostbusters into a Marvel movie, and like the tone of the original Ghostbusters is hard to beat because it is perfectly balancing like comedy, drama, sci-fi, and horror, like all at the same time. Like it's balancing those four things equally and excelling at all four of them. Like my feelings about it aside, it's excelling at all four of those things. I don't know that any of the other sequels or reboots attempts have really hit that tone, including Ghostbusters 2. Like Ghostbusters 2 is fine. It's not as good as the first one because it's hard to strike those balances. I think like the Paul Feig remake with Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig, like that was a comedy, but it wasn't like wasn't nailing the drama or the parts that were taken. Like no one in that movie was taking anything seriously. And there are times in the original Ghostbusters movie where they are taken seriously. There's a real threat to New York, and like I didn't really feel like I didn't think anyone was in danger in that movie, in the Paul Feig remake.
Yeah, fair.
And then in Afterlife is when they start like adding this like we're supposed to just be astounded by the lore of the history of this franchise. I'm just like, there's like, it's just 3 movies and 2 of them aren't great and one of them's fine, one of them's good. Like, it's supposed to be just make it funny. I don't know. It's just like the tone seems off to me. The tone seems like they're going for like now here's the next epic chapter of just like, I just want a funny movie where they zap ghosts. I don't know. They're getting away from what it
we're back to the
felt
same
like originally.
Marvel concept of like,
I
part of me was as happy as I was with the Marvels because it was just like, hey, it's a movie.
Right. Yeah.
Not this crazy interconnected, you don't need a D&D campaign for like your cinematic universe. It's just like, hey, give me a movie. If it involves ghosts, slap a Ghostbuster thing on it. If it makes sense and it's good, then we'll like it.
Yeah. I mean, it also came like that first one was just like there was a story, but a lot of the lines were like improvised right before they shot, and it was it was those.
It was very much that post SNL 80s.
Yeah, it was that team of like all gifted improvisers being like, what's the funniest thing we can say in this scene right now? And then shooting it. And, that worked with like Ivan Reitman, the director, and all that stuff too. But like, I don't think these movies are being made like that. Now it's like too big of a risk to like make a movie that way. So everything's got to be like finely scripted. And it just
when in actuality, you could probably cut your budget like crazy if you did that.
100%. And make a funnier movie.
Yeah. I mean, look at Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Another Bill Murray masterpiece where he and Chevy Chase couldn't be on the same set and had one of the best scenes in movie history together. They took it in one take, improvised the whole damn thing, and that was that, and they went on their merry ways.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't hate this trailer.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I didn't hate this trailer. I thought it looked fine. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It feels like they're trying to and they're also pointing as nostalgia, like they're trying to recapture a feeling that was never part of the original movie. So it's kind of like they're positioning it as, remember how this movie made you feel? Like, no, because this is not how that movie made me feel. That movie just made me laugh, and I was scared a little bit, and this movie just different. Anyway, I like that it's different. I like that it seems like, them fighting in an ice storm is something radically different, when the last movie felt like a huge clone of the same thing that happened in the first movie. So, I like that part of it. I'll be interested to see more. I will definitely watch this movie. I don't know if I'll go to the theater to see it, but I'll definitely see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Or maybe I'll wait to see how the reviews are, but we'll see.
Right.
But it's out there. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet, that trailer. Steve, you got a comic book to review, my friend?
I do. Do you?
I have 2.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't read one of them yet. I mean, I haven't finished one of them.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm like, how do you review it without reading it at
Well,
all?
One
this
is
cover looks pretty.
All
right.
It will all be revealed.
I'll go first then, because I am revealing the cover of Thanos: Return of the Mad Titan #1.
What a reveal!
So yeah, Thanos for many years at this point, like post Infinity Saga and whatnot, was pretty well banished and not heard from. He's on his way back.
He back.
And legitimately back, and in Southern California. Sorry,
Okay.
for anyone not watching the video, Mike just spit took at in Southern California.
Not expecting him to be in Southern California.
Yeah, so
or Earth in general. Was not expecting.
Yeah, the book opens with you're following around your new protagonist through this whole thing, who is a waitress at a restaurant, or I believe, from what I could gather from the art and whatnot. Goes through normal couple pages of panels of normal day stuff. Interacts with a lady who thinks she recognizes her and whatnot. You're hearing things over the radio. All of a sudden, Thanos' spaceship shows up over Fresno, California.
Oh,
and is looking for, you find out, this lady who you've been following.
Wow.
There is a new Illuminati appearance, and if anyone has not read, if anyone has read the Infinity Saga, you know who this is. If you've seen the Infinity Saga, you'll have no clue who this is.
Wait,
if you've read it.
Sorry, say it again.
If you've read the Infinity Gauntlet series, you will know who this lady is that Thanos is tracking down and obsessed with. If you have seen it in the movies, you will have no clue.
So it is revealed that that's who it is by the
yes
end of
and
the
no,
issue
but
okay.
Basically, Tony Stark, Emma Frost, Mr. Fantastic, Blue Marvel, and somebody else show up and are saying, "Oh, the blocks are still in place," and like the psychic blocks are still in place, and blah blah blah. And at the end, it's Thanos there, and you're like, okay, I think I know who that is.
Okay, I was gonna ask what she would be doing in Fresno, California, by the mental. Okay,
yeah,
she's blocked,
but so it's
Blue Marvel is part of the Illuminati.
Yeah, it's apparently.
I guess I don't know enough about that character to.
I don't either.
Understand why he would be on.
I don't either, but he's there.
All right, yeah, I believe you. Interesting.
So, Christopher Cantwell. Let's see who else was on this. It's like, I know Cantwell wrote it. Luca Pizzari on the illustrations, and colors by Ruth Redmond. So, it's the Mad Titan's back. Like, why not?
Wow. Yeah. Cool. Well, I have 2, like I said.
Oh, actually, no. Almost even better.
Okay. Hulk versus Thanos is the next issue.
Next issue.
That's dope.
Yeah. So if you want
Dope.
two really large, colorful people going at each other, pick up the second issue too.
Heck yeah. Well, the one that I haven't finished yet, and I will update you when I do, is my first manga, Steve. I'm reading a manga called Joker.
That is one more than I've ever read.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought it would be good to, I've never read a manga before, so I might as well ease into it with a character that I love.
Yeah.
And it's a DC one. It is by Satoshi Miyagawa and Kisuke Goto. Sure, I butchered those names, and I'm sorry. Classic me. This is okay. I'm not sure. I'm not too far into it.
Yep.
I've read like the first chapter or so, a little over. Reading it backwards is very strange. That's hard to get used to, for sure. Like, I'm holding the book like this, but like, you open it like backwards. Are you seeing
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So you start with this page. This is how mangas work. And you read this, and then it goes like down, and then this is great audio for the people that aren't watching on YouTube. And you know what? Also, terrible video, really. So yeah, you have to go like, yeah, it's really strange. And it's hard to get used to. The part though, but that's fine. The part that is throwing me more is that, and this is what kind of throws me from watching anime or dubbed anime, I should say, is that a lot of time the translation into English is very awkward.
Yep.
And so I'm reading sentences that like are just like clunky, like no human being really talks like this, and I can tell that it's a translation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of taken me out of it a little bit because because it's just worded strangely because of the translation. And I don't know, like if I'm watching an anime, I'd rather watch with subtitles so I can just like read exactly what is being said.
Yep.
But you can't really do subtitles with print, so I don't know how to fix that in this case because I don't think I'm going to be able to learn Japanese.
It's probably not.
So anyway, I've started this. I like it. It's a very interesting story where Joker and Batman are fighting in a chemical plant, as they do often. But it is Batman.
Of plants in Gotham, for the record.
Or there's one that just gets all the action. I don't know.
It's just been decimated 17,000 times at this point.
Batman falls into a vat of chemicals. Does he come out as a Joker? No, comes out as a baby. And then Joker decides to raise him. And so, yeah, it's really weird. Really weird. Joker's taking care of a baby and loving it and trying to actually be like a good dad. It's really wild. So I will finish it. I will give you an update on that when that happens. The regular book that I have, this is not a new book, Steve. It's one that you have read. It's one that's being re-released.
Okay.
And it is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin.
Yes.
Yes, my friend.
The book that single-handedly got me back into Turtles.
Yeah. Yep. And it's bigger. I didn't measure it, but like it's bigger than a standard comic book, which is great. Full color amazingness. Story by Eastman and Laird as normal. Written by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Kevin Eastman also did the pencils for it, which is great, and like all the layouts and stuff. Inks by Aso and Isaac Escorza. Art by Ben Bishop. Color assistant by Samuel Plata. Colors by Luis Antonio Delgado. Yeah, this is a great book, dude. I mean, I don't have to sell you on it. And I know we've talked about it before, but if any of our listeners have missed it, it is the future. All the Ninja Turtles are dead except one, and you don't know who it is. You don't know which one it is until the end of the issue. I knew going in, so I was kind of like looking for hints, and they do a real good job of not giving any hints.
They really do, because basically the turtle he has all of their weapons.
He's got all the weapons and he's got all the masks.
Yeah,
he's wearing a black one, but it shows at one point that he still carries around all of the colored masks as well. It is awesome. Just like cool action-packed stuff, riding on a car that's being driven out of a building or through a billboard. Like, super action-packed. He's trying to work his way up an office building to kill the CEO of the building. That's also related to. He's also related to Shredder somehow, and
I
as
think he's
a
the
revenge grandson of Shredder's grandson. He's doing it because Shredder's grandson, I guess, is responsible for the death of his brother, so he's exacting revenge. I mean, spoiler alert, he doesn't get there at the end of this issue. But like I said, they're re-releasing it in like these expanded kind of like prestige format books. Highly recommend if you're looking for a reason, if you love the Ninja Turtles or you're looking for a reason to get back in the Ninja Turtles like Steve was. Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. Funky Town Comics has issue 1 right now. I'm not sure when the re-release of 2 is coming out, but it's there for you right now. Right now. Gorgeous book. Really fun. Really cool. Lots of surprises. Check that out. What else is going to be in your local comic book store this coming week? Alien #1. Now, Steve, I'm pretty sure this is the 3rd time in the last year that I have said Alien #1 on this rundown. So what's going on with Marvel and Alien? They just keep rebooting their Alien series?
I have no idea.
Again? I also have no idea.
Every time you announce it, I'm like, oh yeah, there's an Alien series.
Yeah. But they're starting over, I guess. I don't know. Like when
Maybe
they
it
first,
just kept
when
getting
like
pushed?
after the everything, the 20th Century Fox acquisition, all that got sorted out. They announced Predator comics and Alien comics. I bought the first Alien comic. It was good. I liked it a lot. And then I maybe got issue 2, but then I fell off. I didn't get the whole thing. And then like 6 months later, they're like Alien #1. I was like, what? I already have that. And now we're here again, Alien #1. I don't know what's going on.
Are they
maybe they're doing
like
just shorter
bunch
arcs?
Of minis?
Yeah, maybe it's just a bunch of miniseries, which is kind of a cool idea.
Okay.
It's like I don't know that Alien is a franchise that really lends itself to like a very like a ongoing,
overarching,
very lengthy ongoing story. You know, they're monster stories, so it might make sense if there's only like 8 issues and then they start over again. You know.
So you're not mistaken. There was an Alien 1 in 2021. There was an Alien 1 in 2022, and now an Alien 1 in 2023.
Okay, so less than so I was wrong about the frequency at which they're coming out, but once a year, I guess they're rebooting the series. Well, I think that's smart. You give a 12-issue arc, you move on, you put different people in a different situation with a killer alien. I think that's smart. Good for them. Anyway, back to these comics. Alpha Flight #4, Batman and Robin #3, Big Game #5, Black Panther #6, Blade #5, Coda #3, Danger Street #11, Daredevil #3, Deadpool 7 Slaughters #1, Detective Comics #1077, Deviant #1, Fantastic Four #13, Ghost Rider #20, Green Lantern #5, Immortal Thor #4, Jean Grey #4, Looney Tunes #275, Outsiders #1. I feel like we get all these reboots and stuff. I think it's cool when I can read Looney Tunes #275. Like, that's awesome. Detective Comics 1077. Like, that's cool. Stop rebooting. You get these like high numbers and it's like impressive. I guess maybe it also scares people away. You know what I mean? But I mean, like 4, 5, 1, 3, 5, like 275 issues of Looney Tunes. That's cool. Anyway. Outsiders #1, Red Sonja 2023 #5, The Rocketeer in the Den of Thieves #4, Speed Force #1, Spine Tingling Spider-Man #2, Star Wars Dark Droids #4, Star Wars Dr. Aphra #38, Star Wars Visions Peach Momoko #1, Superior Spider-Man #1, Superman Lost #8, Uncanny Avengers #4, The Vigil #6, a series that I've really been enjoying, Wheel of Time, The Great Hunt #1, and World's Finest Teen Titans #5. Steve, did you know about that Wheel of Time book coming out?
No, and I didn't know about the first one either, apparently, because that's the second book.
Oh, there you go. It's out there.
Yeah, so you did mention Deviant #1. For anyone who doesn't know what that is James Tynion's latest side project. It is dubbed A Christmas Story by James Tynion and Joshua Hickson. It may not be the Christmas story you're thinking of. the tag is: as snow falls over Milwaukee in 1972, a bloodstained Santa Claus commits unimaginable atrocities against young men. 50 years later, a troubled young writer interviews this so-called deviant killer who still maintains his innocence from behind bars.
Woo!
Yep. So we'll see where that goes. For anyone who is interested, I am one of those people. Basically, it says James Tynion on it, so I'm at least going to give the number one a read through and see how it goes. But Funky Town is doing another midnight release of that. So by midnight release, they mean 8 o'clock, I believe, on Tuesday.
Well, it starts at 8 o'clock, yeah.
Starts at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. They'll be open until midnight, I believe, or close enough. If not, then, tell Jesse he can yell at me. So, yeah, check them out and show up there and grab your copies.
Are you planning to be there, Steve?
I am debating whether I have enough brownie points after having to go to Saratoga this weekend with you.
Oh, so, yeah.
Okay. I believe I will be able to get there late, but yeah.
Yeah, I am planning on stopping by because I also want to check out this comic for sure.
Yeah.
Murderous Santa Claus, James Tynion IV. That's all I need.
Oh,
all I need is James Tynion IV. But
yeah, I hadn't seen this quote. And I quote from Tynion: "This is me leaning on my deep and powerful love of David Fincher and the stories of Hannibal Lecter."
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Well,
it's haunting and serious, but it's also got a fucked up serial killing Santa Claus.
I am sold on this book. I'm sold on this book. So yeah, Funky Town Comics, Tuesday night, starting at 8 o'clock, going until midnight. Get your advanced copy of The Deviant, #1 from James Tynion, Murderous Santa Claus. Say hi if you see me there. Say hello. Pulling any other book, reading anything?
Say hi.
Yeah, say hi. Are you still pulling Jean Grey?
Yeah, I believe that is still on my list. Alpha Flight I liked, but I just needed to trim. Going down through Deviant, Ghost Rider, Jean Grey. Yeah, Jean Grey I'm gonna pull. Simonson's doing a great job with that. It's basically recapping her through her life. Like, you get Jean Grey's arc in a nutshell in this book. Which is, it's a great consolidation. The Star Wars Visions Peach Momoko, I am 100% grabbing. It also, part of me also wants to get a Momoko penned book because of her taking over the Ultimate X-Men, just to get a feel for how that's going to go. So definitely thinking that. And then Superior Spider-Man, I'm torn on because the original was so god dang good.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I want to dive down the rabbit hole or just wait for a trade or what?
Right. Yeah.
We'll see. How about you?
Yeah. I'm definitely getting the Vigil, #6. It's a Ram V book that I've enjoyed quite a bit. Kind of like a new. It's within the DC universe, but just brand new characters. Just like a new. What's the word? Like a Black Ops superhero team, kind of.
Okay.
Really cool stuff. That might be it. That I mean, the only thing that I'm pulling is Vigil for sure. But I don't know. I got that soft spot for that Rocketeer, so you never know. Deviant #1, obviously, I'll be picking up for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. I did get caught up on my other two pulls, Poison Ivy and Birds of Prey. Got caught up on those this past week, and I also finally read Batman: City of Madness, which I thought was excellent.
I got
very cool.
I was caught up until this week, and then they dropped the High Republic started up again. So
yeah,
I've got that and like 2 X books that were last week's pull, including Uncanny Spider-Man, which continues to be amazing.
Great.
Continues to be uncanny because amazing would be different.
Yeah.
But tell me if you ever thought in a book with Spider-Man on the cover that there would be a relationship between Silver Sable and Nightcrawler.
No, I never thought that.
It was definitely not on my bingo cards, but here we are.
He is Spider-Man in that book, right? Nightcrawler is Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Wild. No, never would
Yeah,
have thought
no,
that. But
100%
that's cool.
wasn't on the bingo cards. But here we
Very
are.
cool. Very cool. We got some one shots tonight. Steve, you want to kick off the one shots? Got two of them. Do it.
Apparently, I don't know if you knew this, but since Nintendo is now making all sorts of movies,
I think we called this, by the way. We called this.
I think we did
months ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
A Legend of Zelda live-action movie has been announced. The film will be co-produced by creator and game developer Shigeru Miyamoto and Avi Arad. It'll be directed by Wes Ball, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Maze Runner series, that sort of stuff, and written by Derek Connolly, who did Jurassic World. Thoughts?
All right. I mean, I think when we talked about it after Mario came out, we were like, how have they not made a Zelda movie?
Yeah.
It seems insane that they haven't made a Zelda movie yet. And from an article that I read when I was reading about this is that apparently Nintendo was very wary of licensing their stuff for movies after the first Super Mario Brothers movie flopped in like the late 90s.
See, I remember that conversation though, because we said, why haven't they made a Zelda movie, and how would they make a Zelda movie?
Yeah.
Because every game is literally Link doesn't know where the hell he is. He wakes up. He has to go save the princess and fight Ganondorf, whatever iteration of Ganon it is.
Yeah.
That's every game.
Yeah. Well,
so
I don't know.
Similar
to games, just make it exciting and make it good. Like adventure, I feel like adventure is tough for like as a genre for movies lately.
The protagonist doesn't talk.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna have to change that up. Or maybe not. Who knows?
Hey, yeah. If they can make it work, I'm in.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Last but very not least, we were talking earlier about shifting release dates on the Marvel side. Turns out DC doesn't have that problem, at least with Superman Legacy. James Gunn has announced on social media that, quote, thanks to the efforts of our talented crew who never lost faith during the longest strikes in Hollywood history and who never let their foot off the pedal, continuing to barrel forward, creating the most amazing character and set designs I've seen in my entire career, Superman Legacy will be making the originally planned release date of July 11th, 2025. That's cool. That's cool that it doesn't get moved. We'll see if it stays that way. Who knows what other possible delays we could be getting down the pike. I don't think there are going to be more strikes necessarily, but, you know, actors get hurt or whatever. Like there's, you know, there could be all kinds of delays. But I think because the movie was written pre-strike and at least some of the roles were cast pre-strike, you know, all the other behind the scenes people were just free to like keep developing, keep doing pre-production and designs and like he's saying, like set designers and character designers and stuff, they were like, just go make costumes. Yeah, go. You know, like we got a lot of work done. So now seemingly you just gotta finish casting, and then I don't know when they were originally planning to start shooting, but it's possible that they weren't planning to start shooting until now-ish or this, you know, winter anyway. Like, so who knows? But that's cool. One movie that doesn't have to, you know, find a new date.
Right. So, and one we're looking forward to. Even better.
For sure. Very much so. Very much so. And Steve, I think tonight that's all I got, my friend. You got anything else?
No, and if I hurry up, we might be out of here in an hour and 20 minutes, which is insane.
Yeah, good for us.
So yeah, if you feel like looking us up on the socials, the Multiverse Report, we're on most of them, less so on Twitter recently, since I don't think either of us have monitored it. But I think Mike just started up a Threads account. We have something over on Blue Sky as well. Check us out there. Check us out. Like, subscribe on YouTube. Leave a comment. Do whatever you can to help trick, you know, various AIs into giving us more reviews and more people watching.
Please.
And then feel free to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out and really helps push things forward for us.
Yeah. And if you're watching on YouTube, give it a listen sometime. If you're listening, watch it on YouTube sometime. Join us live. It's a lot of fun. And also, if you like it, tell your friends. We'd love more listeners. Because I don't know, we think we do a good job, and we got some cool stuff coming down the pipe, I think.
think we definitely
eventually. We don't have anything. We can't say anything yet, but we got some cool stuff coming. So stay tuned for that. And hey, again, Saratoga Comic-Con this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Steve and I will be there, booth 92. Come and say hi. And that's all for now. So until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you in the multiverse.